Skype is acting up at the moment. And I
Hey,
guess,
Kenny.
hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I want to thank you for being on the show this evening.
Absolutely. I love doing these things.
And let me give you a proper introduction. Joining me via Skype right now, wrestler out of North Carolina in the Virginia area, Miss Natalina Corvino. She's joining us right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Again, thank you for being on, and we'll go ahead and get into it. What made you decide to be a wrestler? How did it start off for you?
It actually just started off by me doing behind the scenes stuff as far as helping the guys do the setup and takedown. And just because they were working really hard, they would put on, a hell of a show. And then they have to be, after they've done what they've done in the ring, they have to sit there and, well, stand there, excuse me, and do all this extra work. And I'm an able-bodied person, so I would always help. And so I would get there early to help them out then, and I would, be an audience member. And after probably about a year or so of doing that, I started doing security for them because we actually need security. Like, our fans actually get up and they try to attack the wrestlers, and they have to be, put back in their seat. And probably about maybe after another year of that, they were like, Madeline, why don't you kind of do it? And I was like, yeah, not really my thing. No, I'm not athletically gifted. I can't be doing all this flying off the top rope stuff because the guys were amazing. I was in awe of them. I respected them, but I could never do what they did. They're like, you don't have to do all that. You can do other things. And I was like, okay, I'll just try it. I'll just try training. I didn't never think I would actually become a wrestler. And it just kind of snowballed from the first bump that I took. From there, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like. And then you kind of get the image in your head of what's going to happen, how are you going to feel the first time you walk through that curtain. I had that vision in my head for a very long time, and it was very exhilarating. Very like, I would listen to the music that I had planned on picking out if I ever became, which I never thought would actually happen. And it would get me pumped up every single time. It's like, I just want to do it at least once. At least once I want to be able to walk out of that curtain with my music playing just one time. That's all I ever wanted. And it, further than that, and more than I've ever imagined it could turn into.
You know what they say in the wrestling business, never say never. And
So
wow.
true. So true.
And I definitely want to get into the whole security thing because I go to indie shows and like you say, wrestling fans can get very rowdy. At times, people will say, I say more than at times. It genuinely happens, like especially when a heel makes their way towards the fans, and there are fans out there that really wants to talk smack, and they really want to get involved, and it's like slow your roll, like I get it, they doing their job, but you can't be out there trying to fight wrestlers. They trained to do this. You're not. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's
definitely.
it's just a case of look, if you want to be where they at, go to training, go training, go pay your dues before
E-
you know, just saying. Uh,
Exactly.
so that was quite the circumstance for you. Now that you have had a chance to go through it and you're doing this, you get to do shows and all. Like, how do you feel about being a wrestler now that all the circumstances that you have been through getting to this point, and here you are, like you going from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes. Like, how do you feel now that you're a wrestler now?
I definitely appreciate the hard work that gets put into it. I admit uh, to myself, and I'll say it out loud. Obviously, I'll say it, for anybody to hear it later on and go, yeah, I heard you say that. I appreciate people more when they work for it. So when I see, especially new trainees that are coming in, And they're like, we want to, be a wrestler. Like, okay, grab a board. What do you mean grab a board? Grab a board. We got to set up the ring. Well, I came here to train. Guess what, buddy? That's called paying your dues. Grab a board. I've been doing this 5 years. I still grab a board. I still set up the ring. I still take down the ring. And, there are people that have been in it less than me who stopped doing that. There are people who are in it longer than me who still do it, and I have more respect for them because they know everybody's tired at the end of the night. Everybody wants to go home or go get something to eat. It's not, okay, I'm done. I've done my part, and that's it. No more. I don't have to help out. Yeah, you do. You help out your fellow brothers is what I call it. When I see people who try to make something of themselves, not expect it to be given to them. Like, just because you're a female, and I can say this because I am one, I don't expect anything to be handed to me because I'm a female. I don't expect I'm going to get booked anywhere I want just because I'm a female. I don't expect to get paid a certain amount of money just because I'm a female. I feel like I have to earn that. I tell promoters all the time when they contact me, I'm like, by the way, I'm still very green. Have you watched anything I've done, or do you know what I look like, or, are you sure that I'm what you're looking for? I never make it to where, oh yeah, I'm all that and then some. I keep it extremely humble, and I'm very honest with them. It's like, okay, well, I can't do this high flying stuff. That's not my character at all. That's not me, period. So people who work for it, that's what makes it to where you're more respected. And that's how I feel. I feel if you start from the ground up, then you have learned how to do many different things in the business, and that's all important, is that you have to learn and you have to respect the people that are in the business with you and continue to show respect. That respect doesn't stop at a certain point. You have to continue to do that through the whole time you're involved. And even when you get out, you still show respect to those people who are still putting in the work.
Very well said, and I definitely respect your honesty in this matter. It feels like wrestlers tend to take themselves for granted. They think, oh, I'm this. I don't have to do anything further. One thing I learned about, from wrestling, from the people I've talked to throughout the years is respect is definitely a key. Being humble is very key. And, people lack the honesty part to it. Like, whether it's, in the ring or outside the ring and things like that, you know, you're not going to get far in life, whether it's wrestler or any other athlete, if you don't have humbleness to you. Because there's a lot of people out there that wants to be where you at, and if people feel like you don't have what it takes, that you're lacking something, someone's gonna take your spot.
Exactly.
So you know, you got to make the most of the opportunities that you have, and you know, either you take that spot or someone else will. There's a lot of people out there that wants what the performers already have. So it's a matter of not. It's not about just being a wrestler. It's how long you're willing to hang on to it. Because wrestling it's not for everybody. As people like to
No.
say, this is not ballet. Uh,
Mm-mm.
so and I'm a fan. I'm gonna be a fan. I'm gonna stay a fan. People say I'm 6'5", you be a wrestler. I'm like, I'm taking those bumps. No, I'll leave that to the professionals. Like I'll take probably one or two bumps and that's it. Like all that punching, kicking, being foot choked, and the refs guys 1, 2. Like nah, leave that to the professionals. Like I'm very happy being where I'm at. It's that and that's being a fan. Um, Now for you, were there any influences, anyone that inspired you as a wrestler that stood out to you that made you believe, this is something I really want to do? Anyone in particular, whether it's on the indie scene or on the pros per se?
Well, when I was growing up, and I've admitted this many times, I just turned 40 last month, and when I was a kid, and even as a teenager, my family or my parents, were not into wrestling. My father was not into that type of stuff at all. I think the only sport he watched was football and baseball, and that's it. So I didn't get to grow up with all these influences that my fellow wrestlers got to experience, which I kind of feel cheated in that way because I wish I had because they've gotten to meet some of their idols and I've met some, but I didn't grow up watching them, and I feel like I did them a disservice when I met them. I couldn't say, oh my gosh, I watched you since this such and such an age. But I do remember turning on the TV at one point and when China had come out, or when she had been out. I don't know when she actually came out, but I just remember that was the first time I saw her. And I was in awe of her because she was, just so different from any other female that I had ever seen. And that's what I had envisioned what I wanted to be if I could put in the work that she could, because I think I was probably around 11, 12, and I had an extreme weight problem at the time, well, ever since I was like 5 anyway. But I have my father's stature as far as very broad shoulders, very wide, large lats, and um, so I had started weightlifting probably around 12, 13, and you could see me transforming into my father more as far as our body sizes. So my genetics were like that. So she was something that I inspired to be. And then, the fact that she was a wrestler, and I grew up thinking everything was completely 100% real. I didn't know it was something that you trained, for a long time to learn certain movements down. I had no idea anything about that. And um, then later on, as I think I probably around 32, 35, I started watching WWE again because I didn't watch it, for the longest time. Some people kind of, were influencing me back and forth. I loved AJ Lee. I just thought she played crazy so well. I loved because she was just the way when she was acting crazy. It was like she did it so good, in my opinion. And right now, Nia Jax, the intensity she has, and just the fact that she is a larger woman and just her presence alone, it's like when she's there. When she's about to come out. It's that is what kind of makes me even more intrigued, and I try to learn from that. And I watch what they do. I can't necessarily do what they do because these are extremely trained and, have been doing this for a long time and have better um, areas to go to than I'm able to go to due to my regular job, and I can't go to training like they can. And I just try to incorporate what they would possibly do into what I would possibly do, just because I am not tall, but I am larger. So I try to be somewhat like that, and those are really my biggest influences. And Awesome Kong, I thought she was great. I always wanted to meet her. I had friends of mine that met her about a year ago, and I was super, 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 super upset because I was like, damn it, I wanted to go there. I wanted to meet her because I think she's just wonderful. It's the same thing, but the whole presence. They step out, you know it. All eyes are on them. No one's looking around. No one's looking at their phone. Their eyes are on them.
I mean, definitely admire Kong. Uh, I wish she would have had a longer time in the WWE, but motherhood came in, and she gotta be a mom.
Right, exactly.
I respect her for that. Hopefully she'll get another opportunity, to be a part of that revolution right now. And then with Nia Jax, she definitely she's the only active person right now with the size that she has, and she's not like anybody else, and she's comfortable with it herself. And now compete for the World Championship at WrestleMania, and her first WrestleMania ever. I mean, she's the powerhouse of that women's division right now. Raw or SmackDown don't matter. In China, I wish I had a chance to meet her. She was in Kentucky last year. It was like one of her last public appearances before she died. And she was like an hour away from me from a local company. And I wanted to go so bad, but I guess the car that she was in broke down, so I couldn't so I couldn't even make it. I wish I would have had a
Oh,
chance to meet her. And a few weeks after that, she died. And I'm like, damn, I missed out on that. It's very sad. She
because the night she passed away, I cried a little bit. Like I didn't boo-hoo, hysterical cry. It was just sad to see you you look up to somebody, and even though I didn't watch her religiously, but she was always a person that whenever I saw her in a magazine or on TV for the few minutes that I was able to watch TV, because my parents were you can't watch that, that's bad, bad influences and all that stuff. Yeah, strict, just picture strict Italian Catholic family. That was what I grew up with. I went to Catholic
Ooh.
school the whole 9 yards. Um, so God forbid they came into the room. It's like, you can't watch that. Turn that stuff off. And so you kind of had to sneak it. But when I could, it was like I idolized this person for so long, and then, you know, she was just gone in a moment, and it was just so it broke a lot of people's heart. I know personally, I cried a little bit just because it was just sad. It's so tragic for that to happen. And then this is why I kind of I don't try to preach. I don't like to use that word, but this is why I try to like instill in people. I don't try to do just the whole wrestling thing. I try to do where you're supposed to cherish every day because you don't know when it's going to end. And that's what I keep trying to bring out in people. Yeah, and that's kind of like my goal is to, bring out the fact that you can be different. You don't have to be the little tiny little girl. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be beautiful. You just be you and, own who you are. And then also to make every day count because you don't know when it's going to be taken away from you.
Well, and that hit considering what happened just last night. Um,
Yeah.
his wife Jan 2 days ago was at a wreck, skull fractures and everything, and then she was pronounced dead just last night.
Yeah.
Uh, you just when you everyone that's listening to this show or maybe listening to this interview at some point, tell, tell your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, niece, nephews, colleagues, tell you love them, whether it's on the phone or tell them in person, you know, and thoughts and prayers about the jail and the rest of the Lost family at this trying time. Uh, it's very devastating to hear that she a life like that. Uh, someone being on the road or whatever the case may be. Uh, so let's talk about this. The girl next door model and talk a little bit about this.
Well, I was just going on Facebook, as we all do, and this model search content pops up, and of course I click on it, 'cause I click on many different things. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything with it. Look at it. I like to read stuff. Um, and I'm like looking through the contestants. Now I had obviously it was kind of like obvious to me. It had been going on for weeks, so I'm like at the end of it. So there was already like 900 contestants, 900, and so I look and it said something about I think the last day, there was like January 17th or January 27th days. So it was like maybe 4 more days before it's ending, and I'm like, I was literally for, and that other word, uh, And I had like just had some photography shots, um, one by the three that I submitted because you're supposed to submit three, were done by the amazing and Robert Holt, who is located in Greensboro, North Carolina. And he does a lot of the photography for a lot of the wrestling shows. And he had done a personal photo shoot for myself out in North Carolina. And I was like, I'm going to use these. Let's just see if it works. We'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I don't win. Who cares? So I enter these three, and they like completely blew up as far as every like and every comment is counted as a vote, and their share of the album is counted as a vote. So then I was a good amount, and so in the contest for a while, and then there was a certain when the actual entry where you enter stopped, and then there was a certain amount of time before the first winner is announced. And so they call them insights as far as adding up your likes, comments, share, and having viewing, be able to calculate that because of the way the page is set up. So were certainly high for being in a competition with another, actually 989 actually, and oh really, this is actually going pretty good, which I was surprised because I looked at the other contestants and they were not all the same, size 2, size 4, little bitty, long blonde hair. There's some with tattoos. I think I have the most tattoos. I could be wrong, but out of the ones I saw, I was one of the larger girls. Definitely different. I don't think there was any other wrestler. I think there was like one amateur boxer. And the admin had contacted me a little bit of competition, and she told me that my insights were extremely ongoing. Don't like back competition because other people were backing out. They weren't getting a lot of votes. So I said, I'm not. I'll stay in it until I'm done. Until the contest is over. And then the option to add more photos if you got sponsors was added. So photos, 12 photos, and we're just getting more and more. And so we are down now to where they're going to be choosing number 8 this Sunday. And the first 7 that she picked, they had like way, 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 way high numbers, which is great, wonderful. I don't think I could ever get that high, but I was just surprised that I'm actually in the top 5 right now. So I'm like very happy and very thankful for everyone that has put up with me because I've had to share that thing so many times, and I know I'm getting on nerves, and I feel so horrible for it. The quicker that everybody votes for me, thing so I can get my, and it's for a national calendar, and I don't know what opportunities can be possible after that, but that's how you do things because for opportunities that may or may not come out of something else.
Well, as she was talking, I wanted to let you know that I did like the Facebook fan page, and I have liked the page, so that should be considered a vote.
Uh-huh.
And from personal experience, you keep sharing that as much as you want. I don't mind at all. You gotta do what you gotta do. Like you said, it's a chance for an opportunity. I know I was trying to get myself nominated for Best Radio DJ for an award show in the city where I live at, and it paid off for me. I made the final cut as a nominee, got voted by my fellow peers, and I won. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. And so, keep going at it. Still got a few more days. So, it's on her Facebook page, the Girl Next Door Model Search. Click on that. You gotta like the Facebook fan page and go to her album and like it. You can comment or you can share it. Either way, it's going to count as a vote.
if they like each picture in the album, because there's 20 pictures now,
Hmm.
so if they like each picture, that's 20 votes, and then if they comment on each picture, that's another 20, so that would be 40 votes total. And then if they share it, that's even another vote. So it's like 41 votes. So everybody does that. So that's the main thing. So I
Uh,
appreciate you saying that you will do that as well. I really do appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before I let you go, do you have any upcoming matches that you promote?
I personally am going to be wrestling in Rocky Mount, Virginia, uh, on April 1st. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday against Danny Ferreira, who is 19 years old from Tennessee, who's very, very good and who is definitely an up-and-comer. She's definitely got the mentality and the humbleness and the respect that I like to see. Um, After that, April 8th, I'll be in Pelham, North Carolina. I believe I am wrestling her again, but I'm not positive. And coming up March 25th, I'm going to be going to New York with my friend Mars Carnage. And I'm kind of drive thing. I don't drive. I'm up in Jersey, but I've never driven in New York before, so that's not happening. He was to if I wanted to go, and I said yes because I want to go for the experience. I've never been to New York before. I would like to see what the wrestling in New York, how that's different from wrestling in the South. Also, Tommy Dreamer is going to be there, who I met back in Wilmington, North Carolina. He's a very nice man. I was shocked because I was very, when I meet the famous wrestlers like Ron Simmons and I get shy for a second, and then I start talking. And I used to be a very shy child, a very shy adult actually, and then about 3 years being so shy. And I actually enjoy talking to these people because they're actually very, 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 very nice. I'm sure you go into a bad one once in a while, but so far, everyone that I met have been great. And also the famous indie wrestler Casey Carlisle will be wrestling there, and who, to backtrack to your question about who has influenced me, the first time that I saw Casey Carlisle wrestle, she wrestled for our promotion when I was just, um, I saw this 5'3" woman, and I'm 5'2", come out and just kill it. And I was so impressed by her. I was like, okay, you don't have to be tall. You can be, 5'3". You can be this just great heel. I didn't know if I wanted to be a heel or not, but she's so good at it, in all of her ever since, to where it affected my first match with her because I was so god. I let it affect me way too much, and I let my fear get the better of me for that match. Well, for a couple of them actually, but I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've told her to her face, I'm just so intimidated by you. I just couldn't. So that's my next 3 weekends. So I'm gonna be busy, 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 enjoying watching others and enjoying meeting new people and meeting new fans and just watching everybody work and have a great show.
That's gonna be quite a few weeks for you. Danny
Oh,
Ferreira, I've interviewed her before. She's definitely a sweetheart. Very,
yes.
very young, has a bright future in her hands for sure. And Miss Casey Carlisle, I can't say enough how much I appreciate that woman. She's through her more times than anyone on this show, and it's approaching the 6 year anniversary this month, and she's just so on the show. So I will tell her that you said that, and that's fun. It was great having you for like the entire second half of the show. I want to thank you so much for being here,
Thank you
uh,
for asking.
and it was a lot of fun. and continued success. And 40 is the new 30, as people like to say. So,
That's right.
so keep going at it.
Thank you so much.
You have a great night and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
That was Natalina Corvino joining me on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, and that is how we are going to end the show this evening. Thank you to Natalina Corvino. Thank you to everyone for listening, and I'm going to play 30 seconds of the outro, then I get the heck out of here. So, much love. See you this Saturday, chilling with Jeff and Kenny C, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget the WrestleMania preview edition of Triple Threat, 2 hours long, starts an hour early, 6 on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West Coast, on TMVCafe.com, and on TuneIn, search TMV Cafe. Check it out. I'm Kenny Cummins. Have a good night. I'll give you 30 seconds of the outro, then I'm out. Peace!